Good day, everyone. Hopefully everybody can hear me well. I don't have my mic set up right now, but and I'm an hour late. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This time zone stuff gets me sometimes. But anyways, thank you everybody for being here. Let's see if I can get the chats going real quick. Just play the chats. Supposed to guard my YouTube says guard my privacy. Okay, thank you for that, YouTube. Can we just see what people are saying? Live chat. Let's do it. Whoa, my fingers are getting in the way here. Sorry. Okay, what do we got going on? Whoops. All right, there we go. Hey, everybody. I'm excellent. Thanks, Kens. Just Arms. Hey, Brian. Thanks for tuning in. Awesome to see everybody. You guys got questions for me? Because I want questions. Good evening from Wainwright, Alaska. Man, I love Alaska. You know what's cool about Alaska is everything is really big in Alaska. And I don't mean maybe, I mean really big. I can't imagine how big the Sasquatch are up there. But, and I've heard lots about Alaska. I'm working with a couple people from Alaska. It's really exciting. Sorry, I keep putting my finger in front there. Yeah, Alaska. Wow. Like, bears are enormous. Even as you go further north, the polar bears are the biggest bears, right? Or anyways, everything is big up there. The moose are big up there, and I'm certain there's Sasquatch up there because the indigenous people say so. So, yeah. Where did Sasquatch sleep and hide? You know what? I don't know. I think they have a main habitat they don't tolerate people in. But that's a really good question. It's don't call me a Bigfoot expert because I don't know. Maybe there's somebody out there that's a Bigfoot expert, but there's so much to learn about this species. I think they have no trouble evading us. I think they defend a particular territory voraciously, and I think that territory that they'll sleep in is going to be so harsh and so backcountry and so protected that it would be, it would be unhealthy to go there. And I'll tell you why. This is really important. Hopefully everybody can hear me really well. Give me a thumbs up, somebody, if you can hear me. But how would you like it if Sasquatch came to where you were sleeping? I mean, I do Sasquatch research. Oh, damn it. This is just... Now what's going on? I do Sasquatch research, and when I'm sleeping, like, for example, I'm out in Sasquatch habitat, and I'm sleeping in my truck. If a Sasquatch comes and looks through my glass and is there when I'm sleeping, and I wake up and, oh, there's a Sasquatch, that's going to be a bad day. Even though I want to be around Sasquatch, and I'm about the Sasquatch, I don't like them messing with me where I sleep. Would you like it if a Sasquatch or even a bear came and visited you while you're sleeping? Hell no. So, it's kind of, it's just that way anyways. So that, and I don't, if I went to their home, if I followed them back to their home, which is something that's possible, they wouldn't trust me, That's even, let's talk about this real quick. One of the main things I do when I go into a new area is, I earn their trust because what they'll do initially is they'll recognize I'm a tracker and they'll recognize I can follow them home, and I can. But what I do initially is I follow their trackways, let them see I'm a tracker, show my tracking skills, and then I do something, and this is really cool. The Sasquatch do this, is I put an X over a trackway that I'm following to say, I'm not going to follow you anymore. I'm not going to follow you home. And how important is that? It's how you build trust. They can learn to come down and, interact with me and leave without fear of me following them home. Nobody wants to be followed home, so leave them alone at their home spot. And that's why I don't know much about it, because I'm not at that point where we can go do those kind of things. The technology exists and this can be done, but the point is it shouldn't be done right now because you're dealing with an intelligent being that doesn't want to be followed home. It doesn't want you around its children, right? I wouldn't trust a Sasquatch around my children, although I probably should. But I don't take my son out on expeditions with me. It's scary. It would scare him, and because these expeditions are dangerous, and I would not do well with my son around either, because I would be at like a heightened level of maybe a little paranoia. He's just a little boy, and anyways, he's not comfortable with it right now, and neither am I. So Danny is asking me here, Todd, please talk about the animal communicator in your last video. Oh my God, animal communication. I mean, the video speaks for itself. If you haven't seen the video, please watch it. It's the last video I put up last week. And that woman, I mean, I don't know much I'm working. I've always tried to have an animal communicator, and I've worked with a couple of them, but not like Anna. And I've been told things about Anna that are private, and but anyways, I'm really looking forward. I'm going to be looking forward to working with people that have been trained by her, that are colleagues of hers, and it would be a dream come true to go work with her. So yeah, I've had third party communication with her, and yeah, I would absolutely adore and love that. Can you imagine how incredible that would be if she could, when the Sasquatch come around, if she could talk to them and tell me what they're thinking? Can you imagine? I mean, that would be, there's no piece of technology, there's nothing that would be more advantageous. That would be the most incredible thing that ever happened to Sasquatch research, is the way I took PhDs out, the way I took Survivorman out. If I could get Anna around a Sasquatch where she could communicate with them, can you imagine the leaps that we would make? It would be incredible. So I'm immensely interested in working with someone like her. It all, what sucks is it always comes down to budget, money, and financing, and it's, the money is tools, right? To get the tools to do the research. I mean, you can't go try to change the alternator on your truck without tools. It's not going to happen. So, money is tools to do things, and that's a reality. And that's, this is not good business. This is donations, right? So I have my Patreon. If you want to help out, be a part of that Patreon, giving us the tools. My cooperation is growing, giving us the tools to help out. If there's other things you want to do, I'm going to get organized a little more in the next few weeks when my life's not in such turmoil. I'm not even home right now. I'm out 800 kilometers from my house, dicking around with other stuff that I have to do. But so James, have you ever taken a lie detector test about Sasquatch? Actually, as a matter of fact, I have. And it's going to break up once in a while. I apologize. But that was an awesome question. Man, you guys are so awesome. You guys have the best questions. Holy crap. So let me tell you. So I'm even going to name some names and drop some names here as far as I can remember them. This is a long time ago. So I had a Sasquatch hair, and I took it to the RCMP in Edmonton. They have like a canine division, and I was working with some police officers there, and they did a test on it where they did like a burn test, and it burned as nothing in North America does. So I was also working with somebody at the zoo there named Sandy Helicam or something. This is a long time ago. It's like over a decade ago. And they have chimpanzees at the zoo. This is in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And he found out that I was talking to Sandy, and he saw that she had chimpanzees, and he thought I just had a chimpanzee hair, and that's what was tested. And of course, chimpanzee hair on that test that they did would come up as unknown North America. So he got really pissed off at me and demanded I take a lie detector test, which I gladly took. And what was funny though is, of course, I passed it. I passed it really high. And at the end, and I had these lie detector results. And you know what those damn lie detector tests say? They say either he passed and he really believes what he's saying, or he's a pathological liar. So you know what? I don't even want to release that, and I'm telling you guys about it right now. What kind of, everybody's going to say, I mean, that's the truth. If you take a lie detector test and you pass it, you're either telling the truth, especially I was profoundly telling the truth, apparently. I scored high numbers. Or you're a pathological liar. You know what every single person that's skeptical about my research is going to say? They're going to say, I guarantee you this is what'll happen. He's a pathological liar. Oh, the police, he did a lie detector test. They found out he's a pathological liar. They won't mention the first part. They'll just hit pathological liar button, right? And then I'll be proven hoaxer again and everything, I'll be deemed that. So, and people can beat lie detector tests. I don't know. It's not really, if I passed the lie detector test, me and tens of thousands of people would pass it that have seen a Sasquatch legitimately. What good's it going to do us, right? It's not going to move this research forward. But I'd welcome the opportunity to do it again. I don't know. Do you understand though? Do you really get it? Like pathological liar, and if you're a pathological liar, you'll pass the test. Okay, we got Titan, the Savage Cabbage. Wow. Hey Todd, how can I find Bigfoot? I wanna see one again. Well, watch the Survivorman Bigfoots. Watch my documentary. And go from there. And if you want to become part of the cooperation, start making a donation, because what I do costs a lot of money, and I'm helping out people that I can help. I can mentor. If you're really interested, it's not hard to get a hold of me. It's northbigfoot@gmail.com. If you want mentorship, and so that's where we're at with that. So, and of course, The people, I'm really keeping up with Patreon. I just gave everybody from Patreon that made donations there. That's the place to go. Is Todd Standing Patreon. If you want to make a donation, a monthly donation, I'm giving people stuff there. If you make a donation here, thank you. That's awesome. YouTube especially thanks you because they get most of the money from that. But if you go to Patreon, I get like a high number. I get like 90% of it. So that's fantastic. Matt, do you ever take people out? Well, yeah. I do people out on expeditions. I took Survivor Man out. I took Jeff Meldrum, PhD, the late great John Bitternagel, and yeah, I'm finding what's very curious, very curious is I'm I'm building relationships with expeditioners. These people are literally becoming my best friends. Literally. Like, I got my buddy Cody out here who's like a brother of mine now. I took him on an expedition, and he didn't even see a Sasquatch. He had a live interaction. A Sasquatch busted a tree, and then other amazing stuff that we discovered. And as the expeditions went along, other things were discovered on later expeditions that substantiated his encounter. But I got Jonathan, a U.S. Ranger. I got medical doctors, PhDs that I take out. A computer programmer from Alabama, Andy Thompson. I mean, these people are. It's amazing where genius can come from. Little Andy, quiet Andy from Alabama. He's not little. Amazing Andy from Alabama. A wonderful Christian, amazing, faith-driven man. Just blew my mind and taught me things. And he doesn't have wilderness and survival skills. He didn't have them before, but I'll tell you, when he left, he sure did. He knew what berries to eat. Learned a lot about tracking. Just a wonderful, incredible human being. And he made a discovery that PhDs didn't discover. So I named a structure, the Thompson structure. It became the most significant structure. It's going to be in my next documentary. One of the most significant Sasquatch structures of all time because of what Andy Thompson discovered. So an Andy Thompson computer programmer, who knew he was going to outsmart everybody, everybody that looked at that structure, PhDs, wilderness biologists, everybody that was discounting it. He proved so profoundly that structure had to be made by a powerful primate. And it's amazing, totally amazing. And these people are my friends, and I love these guys. I'm not gonna pull any punches about it. These guys are my heroes, and who knew when you go out? You know what happens though when you go out on expedition, and you bleed and you fight and you work, you have each other's back, and you survive the mountain lions and the bears and the terrain and everything that's out there, and you see all this stuff going on. Something special happens. We're together 24/7. Out in the wilderness, and it's only 7 days, but more often than not, something really special happens, and you build a relationship, and you see the truth. You see the truth when you're in the hella backcountry, middle of nowhere, where I take people. This is crazy backcountry, and I'm building bonds with these people, and they're just awesome, amazing. So yeah, the expeditions started out as just something I was pushed to do. I didn't really want it. I was like, what the hell? I'm not going to pay to take people up, But in the end, they're paying for the research. They get a wonderful experience. They get to meet and hang out with me. And gosh, like Rich, Stefan, like these people, like there's so many names, that I just, I'll always have a special bond with these wonderful people. I just can't say enough good things about them. Some of the most incredible people I've ever met are some of the people that I've taken on an expedition. And I'm so grateful. Do you think wolves interact with Bigfoot competing over food and territory? That is an excellent question. And I say, hell no. Nothing competes with Sasquatch. They are the apex species, period. Have a good day. Yeah, they're so apex, it's ridiculous. They have no trouble dealing with wolves and bears and everything. All those species, a smart bear will avoid Sasquatch habitat. I've seen bears trackways come in. I've seen them pick up and just bolt. Like, get the hell out of there because they're afraid of Sasquatch. In fact, this is very interesting. I think that a lot of people aren't attacked by bears because bears mistake people for Sasquatch, and they won't mess with the Sasquatch. And if they do, they're going to get their asses handed to them. So what an excellent question, though. Sasquatch are, like, when you talk about an apex species, in case you don't know this, real quick in nature, when a mountain lion or a bear or any animal or wolves kill something, as soon as the wolves get there, the wolves eat. And what's amazing about nature is the equilibrium. So what happens is, like, even I can tell there's wolves in an area because a mountain lion will rip a piece off of its prey and run up a tree because they know the wolves are coming. And if they sit down there and they eat their prey on the ground, there's no wolves. They're not afraid because a mountain lion can actually fend off a bear pretty decently. But anyways, what happens is the wolves, only the alpha wolves will get out there. So the wolves will engorge themselves overly, like overly engorge themselves. And the reason they do that is they're going to regurgitate food. So they have to leave the carcass. So when they leave the carcass, the bears and the mountain lions can feed. And the bears and the mountain lions will kind of have their little fights and stuff. And actually, a bear can take over a carcass pretty decently. But when the pack comes, the wolf pack comes, they just run the bear off, eat their food. The wolves are the known apex species. And the pack is the most powerful thing here in North America when the wolves exist. Of course, wolves are annihilated by farmers. And here in Canada, you can shoot a wolf anytime, anywhere, any place. They're open season all year, and that really horrible and sucks because they're such a wonderful apex species. They've saved Yellowstone National Park. Wolves from where I do my Sasquatch research, my boys, my wolves that I get to see, they took them and brought them to Yellowstone and they saved Yellowstone. I have that video. The video's up. Look up Yellowstone wolves or how they saved it. It's an incredible story. What an amazing nature is so brilliant and amazing. Literally, the elk and the deer were killing themselves by staying in one spot, defecating and urinating in the same spot. Nothing chased them around. They were wrecking Yellowstone. It's an incredible, incredible story. So that's what I have to say about that. So yeah, let's do some more questions here. Um, is Bigfoot different from different planets? Well, I no idea about that stuff. Remember, I Bigfoot and planets and stuff. That's definitely not my thing. Hey, Claudia Ackley, KM. What's this, Claudia Ackley? Who's KM? Claudia's my friend. I love. There's another person. Like you go through turmoil in your life and stuff, and then you get someone like Claudia who's just there to support me and help me. And she hasn't been on expedition with me, but if you don't know, Claudia Ackley is the United States end of the court cases that I was doing. What's an update on her and the case? It's all on hold right now. My life is in turmoil, so I just have to focus on family issues right now. So Claudia Ackley is a hero of mine. She's amazing. The stuff that she's been through is awesome. Do the Sasquatch see color? What an interesting question. You guys are awesome. I love these questions. I love them. I think they do, but I did some research on this a few years ago. Will they see so well at night? Probably not, right? But I've learned more since then. So the answer is obviously I don't know, but because when you see really well at night, uh, you have more. There's rods and cones in your eyes. One's for you get good night vision. The other one's for color. But when you have more color, you can't see so well at night. So uh, I don't know the answer, obviously, but it's a really good question. And yeah, I did. Like I said, I did research on it a long time ago, and I don't remember what the answer is. But good, awesome, good question. And you know what? I don't think we're not going to know until someone asks the Sasquatch, "Hey, is this red or blue?" Right? I'll tell you something. Someone tell me that they can see infrared light. I don't buy that for a second. Like snakes are able to see infrared light at short distances and stuff, but there's no mammal that we know of anywhere that can see infrared light. And I remember talking to a survivor man about this when we were out in the bush. I always said, well, because we had that infrared spotlight when we were looking around, if I ever shine an infrared spotlight on a Sasquatch, see him go, then I'll know. Because when you get hit with an infrared flashlight, you can't tell because we don't see infrared light at all. In fact, I could shine it like right in my face like this, like 4,000 candle power, and I can feel my face warming. It's right on my eyeballs. It's a spotlight, and you don't notice it. So, hey, Todd, Parkway Hippies tuned in. Thank you, Parkway Hippies. Yeah, Majority, Yellowstone is amazing. Todd, my microphone is muffled. Oh, sorry, dude. Just hopefully that's better. I wish I could hear it myself. Okay, I live in the area and she seems amazing. Yeah, KM. Claudia Ackley is awesome. She's doing lots of stuff. She's staying real busy. She's got lots of other really cool things going on. I don't know how to. If you're really interested in talking to Claudia, she's on Facebook. Yeah, you can get a hold of her on Facebook. She's amazing. She's legit. She's tough. I speak very highly of her with what she's doing and the work. She's just been fearlessly moving forward, and I'm very respectful to her. Do you think that tongue clicking and knocking are misinterpreted as tree knocks? Yes, I do. Who is this K Planky? Who is this? How smart are you people? I do. I don't know about tongue clicking and knocking. I was told by my native teacher who I admire and respect with all my heart, that that's how they do it with big fingers and big hard mouths. They do it to sound sounds like a wood knock. And the reason I actually really agree with that is to duplicate that sound, you have to have two like aged pieces of wood. Like you have to have like two Louisville sluggers and smack them together. That's how some Sasquatch people are trying to duplicate the sound. And I just imagine the Sasquatch just kind of having a chuckle over that. Look what he has to do to make that sound. He has to have two aged pieces of wood. They could do it though with wood. I'm not dismissing it because I don't know for certain, but you know, we'll have to figure that out. So, thanks, Joe. I hope it all turns around for me too. Why do they sit on people? I think it's just like a joke. That's a good question. So, in case you don't know, on an episode of Survivor Man, I'm quite certain a Sasquatch came and sat on him. He talked about it. I've been out with Survivor Man. He can sleep pretty deep, you know, especially when you're up at altitude and you've hiked all day. You can get into a pretty deep sleep, and I think you know, I think it's, what likely happened. I would assume is the Sasquatch walked close to him and he didn't do anything, and they walked quietly, right? They walked right over top of him and he didn't do anything, and then the Sasquatch walked up to him and sat on him. Do you see how the game is going? He's like testing you. He's playing with you. It's boys being boys, right? Having a good time, and they don't really sit on you. He kind of squats on you and puts his butt on you. They've done that to me. So, and the reason I know they've done that to me is so one time they did it, and the next couple days later, I heard them coming around, and I pretended like I was sleeping, and I actually saw them do that. They walked close to me, and then they walked closer to me, and I was like, even I was kind of going, I sleep like that. And then at the end, he came over and sat on me, and boy, that scared the hell out of me. So, are the Bigfoot near your house? Not the ones that I study. I'm sure there are Sasquatch in the Bugaboos, which is very close to where I live, but no, they're not near my house. I would love that. That'd be amazing. Those are the people. You liar. Hey, everybody. Sorry. There's going to be little gaps. I don't know why it does that. This YouTube live thing is like a new program, and they got a lot to work on. But I'm grateful they have it. So, Todd, have you ever been back to work on? But I'm grateful they have it. So, Todd, have you ever been back to the area where Sasquatch had you screaming at them to go way up? And if so, did anything happen? Well, yeah. That's Radium. I've been back there a dozen times. I was back there on an episode of Survivor Man. He actually went back to the spot, and we spent some time there one night. But it's not. This is not black and white. What happened, and the reason they did that is it's a long story, and yeah, I've talked about it a few times. But they were trying to push me back up the mountain, so that was very unusual behavior. But they were trying to teach me a lesson that day. And since then, they haven't done it again because I learned my lesson, and it was actually, they were trying to get me to get my spiritual animal and push me back up the hill. But no camera on while you sleep. Well, you know, Paul, I'll tell you something. I have cameras running. No camera on while you sleep. Well, you know, Paul, I'll tell you something. I have cameras running a lot, but when you're in the wilderness and you have batteries, you got to replace them. You're out in the bush. Again, I'm sorry about the pause, but anyways, just no camera on while I sleep. I can't keep cameras on all day, all night. You just can't do it. It's not reality. Um, and if you did, even when you do, even when I have cameras around, who's pointing them in the right direction? Are they in the right direction, wrong direction? And then, you don't get good focus. You won't get good quality video. People want crazy, amazing, awesome quality videos. And, you just don't get that when your camera is randomly pointed in a direction. Believe me, I'm trying to do that. Even we've had Sasquatch come around tents at night. So we put cameras out, and then they don't come around, or they come around in a different direction. You think, well, that was lucky they didn't come right in front of the camera, but they're just the randomness of doing it. Like, I don't have 15 cameras to put up, and or you get people that'll chastise me. Hey, Todd, how come you don't have 20? You know what? Because 10 cameras times $400 a camera is $4,000. So sorry, but that's not going to happen. And you put all those cameras up, you leave it you leave it a mess of cameras all over the place like that. The Sasquatch see it, and they're not going to come near you. So, every time I put up a game cam and I leave apples out, the Sasquatch don't take them. They're probably watching me put up the game cam. Are you kidding me? I'm their dumbass student. I'm their student. They're my teachers. You're not going to fool them. And the whole thing with intent comes in when you start being sneaky and leave cameras up and try to trick them. You start being sneaky like that, and they're not going to trust you. When you build an honest, when you have a friend, do you sneak up on them? Do you sneakily try to take pictures of them? Really think about that, because your intent, your energy matters. And that's why I do the art of Sasquatch in my videos. Because if you're sneaky and you're deceitful, if you treat your friends like that, you won't have friends. If you're trying to build a friend relationship and you're trying to earn their trust and you're sneaky and deceitful like that, you are going to lose. So, Todd, do you do guided trips? So what's the cost per trip per person? It's different. I'm trying to do the Sasquatch research. Hey, Amanda, what's up? My girl Amanda's here. It's probably 4 in the morning where she is, but thank you, Amanda. Oh, I got donations. Whoever's donating, thank you so much. Didn't even. I don't know where they're coming from. Pine Landau. Try to find that. This app keeps kicking out. I don't know if I'm losing stuff. But anyhow, what the hell was I just talking about? Oh, guided trips. So when my website gets back up, waiting patiently, that's the person's name. When my website gets back up and when I put it up and do stuff with it, we'll start working on that stuff. It's going to be different now because I want to start the full-time research center, the Discovering Bigfoot Research Center. So it's going to be different. But yeah, it's usually around, don't quote me, like I was doing 4,900 for the week, which might seem like a lot, but it's a lot of equipment. We were driving around on electric bikes this year. We had a beautiful trailer we were in with, you know, cameras on top and stuff. So we had a lot of really awesome new equipment, but it's probably going to be down to like 35 this year for a week. And I pay for everything. I pay for the hotels. I pay for all the. We have trucks and equipment and satellite phones and food. All food is paid for, and then the electric bikes were decent. I had a big investment in those electric bikes, and they're electric bikes are quite experimental. And when you're dealing with that kind of technology, I mean, what I do is hardcore stuff. You have to, like, tried, tested, and true. And electric bikes were amazing because they're quiet, but they kept breaking down. It was really hard on me, really, really hard on me. So, thoughts on Bigfoot in the Himalayas, where they originated? In the Himalayas. Well, see, I've never been to the Himalayas, but my thoughts on them, I think they're going to be more aggressive, and I'll tell you why. Because we have black bears here, and we have black bears in the Himalayas. The black bears are a little smaller, which the Himalayan, I'm assuming you mean the Yeti, Kyla, is a little smaller, and our black bears are less aggressive. The black bears in the Himalayas are much more aggressive. Smaller species seem to be more aggressive. So, yeah, and there's a lot of fear from the Yetis. So they seem to be a lot more angry, and they have like people are talking about nails and tooth and attacking and being really hurt. And not to say that the Bigfoot out here won't do that, but the Sasquatch that I research and that I work in the field with are just so amazing and gentle and take care of me and save my life. So yeah, it would be cool if they sit on you. Mark, Todd thinks Jake has moved away from that area. Todd thinks Jake has moved away. That's correct. So I haven't substantiated that, but I just can't see Jake being there anymore. My heart tells me he's gone, and it really hurts my feelings because he was such a. I don't know. You build a relationship. Ask Diane Fossey about Digit. You know, ask Jane Goodall about her favorite chimpanzees. You build a relationship with these incredible beings that are so amazing. And gorillas can be. Gorillas are like they beat the females up, and Diane Fossey still loved them. Chimpanzees are very aggressive, very angry, very hostile, and I think the Sasquatch are not like that so much. And so I adore the Sasquatch here. What do I think about Sasquatch Ontario? I don't know. I don't want to be a pessimistic and stuff about people. I just want to take the fifth on that. Go, anyways. I don't want to bash other research people and stuff, and when it comes to my colleagues though, like John Bitternagel had to do with a certain Bigfoot research organization. Then he sent me the tracks, and I told him, I said, no, those tracks are fake, John, and I'll show you why. But did an organization fake tracks and then have true footage and stuff? So if you're talking about the Ontario Sasquatch, the Japanese talk, I mean, that's not, if it's real or not, it's not good evidence. It's just audio evidence, and I've never heard Sasquatch ever talk like that. And again, if you're talking about Ontario Sasquatch, I showed that to my native colleagues. They're very impressive to me, and they're like, I never heard Sasquatch talk like that. So, but it's not to say it's not real. Not to say that. I just have not experienced it. Sasquatch would be different in every spot. In Nordegg, they make a sawweed owl sound, for goodness sake. Never heard of a Sasquatch doing that. So Angie's asking me, Todd, what do you think of Sasquatches? Think of a Sasquatch day consist of? Do they keep on the move all the time? I think Sasquatch, that's an awesome question, Angie. Really good question. I think Sasquatch are in love with nature. They adore nature, and I feel like in my heart, I think they just have a way of just relaxing and enjoying things, loving loving the life, and are really at peace and harmony in so many ways. And they have fun, you know. They have fun. They have great abundance. I don't think they have. Maybe they. Well, of course they have tough times. Winters are tough, but they're used to it. They know it's coming, and they just deal with it. And they're excited about when the fruit's coming, or when the salmon are spawning. So, you know, Michael asked me that too. Do they like fruit? Well, yeah, sure they like fruit. I try not to give them, like, I don't give them bananas. Oranges haven't been successful. I tried strawberries this year. They didn't take those because strawberries are indigenous, but the strawberries I had were like huge, and the indigenous ones are really tiny. So I haven't seen them take those yet. But what's the music in the beginning? It's just like stock outdoors lover said. What about the music? I don't know. I just got them from stock music. I bought it. There's one that's really cool, right? I like that one. I've kept it. It's hard to find. I've been thinking, has Jake started his own family? No, I don't think so. I think he would go off and beat up another Sasquatch and take over the family. But that's just my theory, right? And I've actually, I've substantiated. I'm very convinced that Sasquatch males fight and to dominate a troop, right? So just like gorillas or even lions, right? It's a male-dominated society. When a new male comes along and fights the other male, he takes over the troop. So, but of course, you could get rogue males running around finding rogue females, right? But with the loss of habitat so significant, I think all the habitats are being taken up by Sasquatch, all the good ones, and so I don't think that would, just in the biology. There's not space. There's not new territories being broken in with Sasquatch. Is my point. Territories are being lost, if anything, right? Because they always want to be away from people. So, have you ever witnessed a Sasquatch's eye ever self-illuminated whistle out researching? Okay, well, Will Gibson asks, have you ever witnessed a Sasquatch's eyes ever self-illuminate? Yes. Green. Green is what I see. So on multiple occasions. It's not bright green, but it's green, and you can see it. When it's dark, you can see it. Hey, Todd, light in your face is bad. Sorry. But I'm not so handsome, so maybe that's a good thing. Shh, I don't know. Yeah, sorry, the lighting's bad, but just not good lighting here. I just sort of had to get this show going on. I'm tardy with it and everything. I apologize. So hope the audio is good though. Do tree arches and tree structures vary from state to state, region to region? That is such a good question, Parkway. You guys are awesome. I love these questions. I find Absolutely. I find there's a style for my radium Sasquatch. There's a style for the Nordegg Sasquatch. There's in California when I was there, I didn't see any tree breaks. You know? So and then I tried to make a little one. The trees in California are very rubbery. So I tried to break a little tree and it wouldn't break. I twisted it and bent it. It doesn't have a snap to it because the trees are, there's more warmth out there, more heat, so they don't break. So I'm like, why aren't I seeing any tree breaks? Well, maybe they can't do tree breaks out there. Maybe the vegetation is different, right? So you got to look for different things and different structures and stuff. So yeah, there's definitely a style though. When I took William, another awesome friend of mine that I just think the world of. He's a firefighter from Washington. I took him out on an expedition this year. It was just him and I, and we were in Nordegg, and then the weather got really crappy, so we left and we went to Radium because this guy, this firefighter, he is tough as they come, backcountry kick ass. I took him on the toughest hike, and he just matched me stride for stride. He was amazing. So I took him to Radium because he's so tough. And as soon as I got there, I started to show him the difference in the style of the breaks and stuff, and he recognized it. Oh yeah, they're breaking different things out here, and the style of break, and I don't know. There's just something that's different about it, and it's hard to explain it. But you can, once you get out there and you feel it, you can feel it. There's a thing going on. There's just, it's similar, but it's different. It's a style. And William had an amazing. We had a great encounter that was so cool. It was yeah, it was awesome what happened with us out there. So, Todd, can you affirm in different phenotypes of Sasquatch? I understand what you mean by phenotypes. Have anything to do with race, species, gender, or relates to behavior in any way? Oh man, Roberto Ramos. That is a cool name. That rolls off the tongue, and that is an amazing question. You people are so freaking smart. I always think, like, I go on radio shows and they always ask the same dumbass question. What got you started in Sasquatch? What makes us believe? They just have, it's like the same. It just, like Eminem said, the same swear word questions. But you guys, no way, man. So let's think about this. So Todd, can you affirm a different in different phenotypes of Sasquatch have anything to do with race, speciesism, or gender, and if it relates to behavior in any way. That's a tough question. Man, that's a lot. So by phenotype, he means exterior look. Have I noticed differences? I'll tell you something. This is something I think I've noticed. When a Sasquatch looks healthy and strong and doesn't have bad odor, he seems much more peaceful. When a Sasquatch is stinky, he's giving like he looks crappy and and depleted, they seem more aggressive and angry. So that's a phenotype I could tell you. The healthier they look, like Jake was so healthy, he was so strong, he was so big, it's just amazing, moved fluidly. He just seemed really happy and easygoing. And the Sasquatch that I filmed in video 8, an older Sasquatch, not as big. And the other thing too, Jake is bigger and seemed more peaceful. Is that kind of weird? The Sasquatch from video 8 and a couple others that I've noted around different places, when they seem like the video 8 Sasquatch is, I think he's at full height. I believe he's old. He's got male pattern baldness is what it looks like. And male pattern baldness, and he's not even 9 feet tall. I think he's like 8'4", I would guesstimate. And he doesn't look as healthy as Jake, and his fur doesn't look as good, and he's cranky. So that's a phenotype that I would, and you pushed me to that question. I've never been asked that question before. Roberto Ramos, what an awesome question. Your question was as cool as your name. That is a brilliant question. Amazing. Thank you. You pushed me. Nobody's ever asked me anything like that. I'm sitting here and having to think about it. So, hey, Gail, I want to know what you think about people saying Sasquatch is responsible for the missing 411. Do you think they really abduct people and eat people? Ooh, well, they could. You know, there's bad people. There's serial killer people. There's bad bears. There's a bear. When I first started in radium, there was this big, huge, enormous bear. TV shows and movies are always chasing me around to do a show. So I told them there's this gorgeous, huge bear in radium, and he likes to bluff charge me, but I know him and I like him. He's cool. So awesome, awesome, big, beautiful bear. One year he was just gone, and another bear, not quite as big, but very aggressive, angry. Man, the third time I ever saw this bear, he killed a sow, killed her brutally, and then killed her cubs. It was brutal. I don't like that bear. So bears have different personalities. And in fact, if I ever see that damn bear again, I'm putting lead in that son of a bitch. That's the bear that came to attack me that day. And that bugger wants me dead. And it's him versus me. And when I go on, I tell people on expedition, I see this bear, the reason I know him is the day he killed a sow, a beautiful Michelle Pfeiffer sow, a gorgeous, beautiful female grizzly bear and her two cubs, murdered them horribly. And the way he did it too was he latched onto the cub and he was making the cub squeal. He wouldn't kill it. So the mom would come back and you could see her coming and she was mad. She was like, oh my God, you're killing my baby. You're killing my baby. So what he did, this just to be diabolical and to be evil, what he did was he put his head down as he was attacking the cub and he let her bite his ear on the side of his head, and he's killing her cub, so she just ripped on his ear. She was tearing his head, and you could see him just go, yeah. It was like he wanted that. So as I was saying, you could see he wanted that pain, and what he did was he picked up his whole body, and she hung on, and he shook her off, and his ear got all torn, and as soon as he shook her off and she hit the ground, he went right after her throat and just tore her apart. It was horrible, just totally horrible. I had to sit there and watch because I needed to know what the hell was going on because I wanted to make sure this damn bear wasn't this bear wasn't going my direction, and it was just a terrible, terrible thing. But anyways, why were you asking? Anyways, that bear is just I recognize that bear though because his ear's all damaged, so because of that attack on that sow. So Mr. Skeptical, is anybody else buying this bear story? I'm buying it, so because it happened. But Mr. Skeptical, let me tell you something. I've spent thousands of days in the backcountry. I've seen things. I've seen a lot of things. A lot of things I don't talk about, but I'll talk about certain things when it's prudent to teach and help people understand and learn. And what I'm trying to teach about that is there was an awesome bear that I really liked, got along with him well. I talked about the networks and stuff because I could have got that bear to charge at me and it looked like it looked cool to have him kind of charge off and always bluff at me, which is what he did. We had respect for each other and I could feel it, like spiritually we had respect. This other bear, No respect. Don't like him. He's not my friend. He stalks me. He hunts me, and I don't like him at all. He's not my friend. And next time he comes around me, I'm putting lead in him. So yeah, that's just how I feel about it. And I don't really like the story or not. Whatever. It's even something I've learned too, though, is I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to help people understand certain things. And do you hate that bear? You know, I'll tell you something. You better know this about bears. You better know this, and I'm going to explain something to you. One of their major sources of food is fawns, like deer fawns and elk fawns, babies. A bear will see a mother with a baby and go after the baby. They kill it because it's easy. And that's during a certain time of year, that's their major source of food. And, that's not nice. You know, beautiful fawns are gorgeous and beautiful, and they'll attack them and tear them apart. And, you know, Charles Sane can't believe people buy this crap. Where's the proof? Show the video. He'll not do it. It's all a lie. Really, Charles? Have you seen my documentary? Because there's videos on there, and I have DNA. So, and I've shown that DNA, and I have it. So, it's all a lie. Well, maybe you should pay attention, watch my documentary, look at what's going on, listen to what I have to say. Because, Charles, I take people out and show them Sasquatch. I did it with Survivor Man. I did it with PhDs. I have DNA. I don't know what else you want, my friend. Frank's saying that bear has some serious problems, but is it wrong to enjoy surviving? Is it wrong to enjoy hunting? Hunters hunt and kill things. And is it wrong to enjoy what you do? How you have to survive? Is it wrong to enjoy steak? Right? I love steak. I eat steak. It's from an animal that was killed, so I know a man that loves to fight like that bear, and he's in his 50s. Sure, people are like that. People have different personalities. Does anybody disrespect a fighter? Right? Fighters are, I've seen, people are built a certain way. People love to fight. And it's part of our heritage and our history. I'm a UFC fan. So, the world is not so cut and dry. Even I'm not against hunters at all. I study hunters and I learn a lot from them. So they have a place, and they finance research. And without hunters paying for bear hunts and the dolly sheep, they didn't know anything about the dolly sheep, and then they let a hunter go out and shoot one for an enormous amount of money, like 50 grand. They took that money and used it to go study the dolly sheep because they didn't have funding for it. So because that hunter shooting a dolly sheep, they got money for it. So you could look at it that way, right? Yeah, thanks, Amanda. For anyways, I don't mind skepticism though. People, Johnny Come Late, go watch my documentary, go have a look at the footage, and go and understand. Even watch the Survivor Mans and understand. I take people out and show them Sasquatch. Todd, why are they covering up the existence of Bigfoot? I don't know, but I mean, yeah, I don't want to talk about the cover-ups and stuff. And it's like my friend and mentor, the late great John Benernagel said. Let's not. This is paranormal enough. Let's not turn it into a conspiracy. So there's enough evidence. There's enough truth out there. There's enough eyewitnesses that we should be able to move this discovery forward, and that bothers me. The Skywalker gibbon is accepted as a legitimate real species because of only DNA. There's no specimen. Look it up. Skywalker gibbon. This is a precedent that's been set. So if we can get DNA for Sasquatch, which we can, then they can recognize the species. Also, one of my heroes, Jeff Meldrum, an incredible, amazing, wonderful man. We're so grateful to have him. We're so lucky to have him in this discovery process, has proven and had it scientifically accepted that the feet are from a living individual that exists. So the feet are accepted from, like, PhDs wrote off and signed off on it. The Sasquatch feet are from a real living individual. We just don't accept the individual. How crazy is that, right? Mr. Skeptic, I love this show. I'm extremely interested, but skeptics are good. I agree. I love the skeptics. Some of the best questions are from skeptics. So, yeah, I welcome skepticism. I do. I welcome it. I'll talk. You think Sasquatch can kill a bear in a fight? Absolutely. Sasquatch have bear jujitsu. I talked about that before. But yeah, Sasquatch, they know bears. They know how to handle them. No problem. So why didn't you shoot it, Todd? Well, if I ever shot a Sasquatch, I would die. I would not survive. I think if I pointed a gun at a Sasquatch, most times I would probably get killed. But Sasquatch know what guns are. Baboons, a sniper that is a colleague of mine from South Africa. Baboons know what guns are. Baboons can tell the difference between a fake gun and a real gun. The stuff that the experiments that they've done with baboons showing how brilliant they are and intelligent they are pertaining to guns, because guns can kill them. Primates are very intelligent. You think animals are stupid? They are not. But even if I got to a spot, and there was a day where I got a shot at a Sasquatch. Remember, I'm studying a group, a tribe, or a troop, whatever you want to call it, of Sasquatch. If I shoot one, if I came into your home and shot your brother, auntie, uncle, son, what do you think the family's gonna do? You think they're gonna ask me questions? Say, hey, what's up? They're gonna kill me so fast. Like, I'm gonna die horribly. They're gonna rip me limb from limb. It's gonna be the ugliest. I will die and nobody will ever find my body if I went to shoot one of these individuals. And if I had that intent, you have to understand, if you have that intent to begin with, you're gonna lose. You can't go out there versus them. It's not man versus wild. It's man surviving within wild. It's making friends. It's cooperating. They're coming around me. The reason I have the success on expeditions with Survivor Man is because they like me. If I couldn't do that, if it was about me sneaking up on them, I'd have success once every 3 years, but it's not like that. It's habituation. It's what they do with gorillas and chimpanzees. That's what I do. They're my friends. They're my teachers. I love these individuals. And, you know, so I hope that helps you. Even if I had that intent, if I was a bad person, I was going to shoot them and harm them, I would never have any success with them then. That's what I have to say about that. Do you have any, so Hidden Moon, do you have any footage of the Bigfoot? I'm sort of a skeptic and a believer. Yeah, watch my documentary Discovering Bigfoot, or even the Survivor Man's. There's I put footage on there. Yeah, thank you, Powder Blue. You guys are awesome. Your story has your stories are badass no matter what. Thanks, JJ. Well, I don't know. The wilderness is amazing and the wilderness is badass, and I'm just an observer of that. The wilderness is brilliant and amazing and wonderful, and I'm just a student of it. So thank you very much. Natives are from the Roberto's got it. Cool. Let's do this. Roberto here. Natives from the Amazon forest are scared of the Amazon Sasquatch called. Whoa, there's an Amazon Sasquatch. I didn't know that. And the natives believe that they're protectors of some of the underground secret caves. Well, you know what, Roberto? You might be talking about the Alush. And the Alush are, yeah, that's a whole other ball game. But man, I don't know. The locals and people believe in the Alush big time. So I'm very impressed with the stories of the Alush are incredible. Let me tell you, I got to tell you one story about the Alush, okay? So when you go into the Mayan Riviera, you fly into Cancun, that's the major airport. And the only reason you can get down to places like Playa del Carmen is there's a bridge there. And this is a true story. You better listen. This is amazing. So the Alush are like apparently little green Sasquatch kind of creatures. I know it sounds crazy. And every person I talk to, they all believe in the illusion. I'll tell you, they're underground masters. And this is what happened. This is what's really cool. Somebody should go do a documentary about this. So they built a bridge, this important bridge from Cancun, so everybody can go down to see Tulum and Chichen Itza and all those amazing places south of Cancun, down the coast there, which is gorgeous. So they built the bridge, and the locals, the Mayan locals, say if you don't make a shrine to the Alush, it'll collapse. So apparently some German dude built the bridge, and it collapsed. Brand new bridge. So a British guy came along, saw no mistakes in what the German guy did, built a bridge, and it collapsed. And they both got together. They went back to their universities, Oxford and all this stuff, and they went on and they couldn't figure out what the hell was going on. So they went to the shaman. This is long story short. I'm just trying to make it quick and get to the point. They went to a shaman and built the underground place for the Alush, put all the gifts there, the alcohol, the fruits every day, and then they built the bridge again, and it stayed because they had the shrine of the Alush. Go figure. And I'll tell you, when I was being a jerk, being a skeptic sometimes, and sometimes when you're a skeptic, you're a bit of a jerk. And I was a bit of a jerk of a skeptic. I'm like, really? Little green dudes that run around? And the guide that I was with said, pick a person, any person, and we'll go talk to him about the Alush. I'm like, really? It goes, everybody knows they exist. Everybody. So I said, there's a police officer over there with a gun. Like, and I was in Playa del Carmen in that area. This police officer had like a automatic weapon on him. I said, let's go ask him. So just randomly, we go up to the police officer and we say, so do you think the Alush are real? He goes, oh, what do you mean real? Of course. He said this morning he pulled out his cell phone and showed me a mark on his wife's ass. What apparently what happened that morning or the day before was his wife got upset with the Alush and pissed them off. So one ran past her and whacked her butt really hard. And there was a little weird looking handprint on his wife's ass and he had a picture of it. Does he think they're real? No, one just tuned my wife in yesterday. This is just some random person I picked. So, I stopped asking questions then. And, how dare I know Bigfoot are real, but the Alush aren't real? Horse Malaki. And when you go through all that beautiful Mayan Riviera, I know lots of people travel there. It's a gorgeous spot. The people there are amazing. I love going there. And when you go there, you'll see anything underground. There's a loosh. You'll see there'll be flies around the fruit, and there's some alcohol there. And thanks, York, for enjoying my documentary. Um, Ray asked me, do you think the Sasquatch will remember somebody 20, 30 years after? Yes, maybe, if they've had a good experience with you. So, yeah, they're really smart. You're dealing with very, very brilliant individuals. And I think if you have a good relationship with them, I think they would still remember you. I really, if something special happened, yeah, and maybe even other Sasquatch would. I think this, Ray, let me push to this. I think I had success in California because the Sasquatch know me. Because there's stories about me, about this man who comes around and respects us and is doing good things. I think I'm in the Sasquatch culture all the way down into California. I know that might sound crazy, and I might be wrong, but that's my theory because I'm having pretty good success in a lot of places I go, and I think they might know me. Weird stuff is happening. Cappy McCappy said that bear is evil. I don't think he's evil. No, he just loves to. Bears need to kill to survive, and he really enjoys it. Does that make him evil? I don't know. And maybe, I don't know. I just don't like him, and he's trying to hurt me, and I'm not okay with that. I wish him a peaceful, happy existence, and then he comes to attack and hurt me. So I don't like that bear. And but the Sasquatch don't hurt him. They know what he's done. They know more about that bear than I ever will, and they leave him alone. But yeah, I hope the stream's not frozen anymore. Yeah, it's nature, survival, the fitness. I don't know. There's a lot of debate over that. Like, blue whales kill what, billions of krill? If you're a krill, you think blue whales are evil, but they're peaceful, harmonious creatures. So I don't know. Um, Day watchers, day watchers, day watchers. Other day watchers only male. No, one of the day watchers, we called her Jane. I was when I filmed the video too. That was definitively a female day watcher. So more about the day watchers. The day watcher theory is, yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot going on with Sasquatch, and so, anyways, I don't know what to say about the day watcher theory. It's something they're still working on, still a work in progress. So yeah, killing to survive is one thing, but that was murder even if they were an animal. If you're talking about that thing, yeah, it was pretty brutal. He was killing that cub like that. The cub was squealing. It was pretty brutal. It hurt my heart. I was traumatized. Sincerely, I was very traumatized by that experience. Sometimes I'll yeah, I get traumatized, and it's hard. It's hard to look at that stuff. I don't. That's horror. That when I use that word horror, like people use, oh, that's horrible. I don't use that word unless I mean it. That word to me, I've seen horror. I've seen brutalization. I've seen fawns get ripped apart. So I remember I was out with a friend of mine, and we were looking at this beautiful deer, and she'd just given birth to these. She had three fawns, and they're beautiful. He's like, oh my god, they're so beautiful. And the first thing I thought of is two of them are dead this month, brutally gonna die. And maybe that's not a good thing to think, but a mom can't keep those. And I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't think like that. But nature is not kind. It's very cruel. And yeah, so it's awesome. Oh, I just had some good questions there. Where are they? Here they go. Good. So go back here. Blaze and Silver. Do they have a babysitter in the clan for the juveniles while the parents are away? I think so. I would totally think yes. Huh. That's such a good question. Well, here, I'll tell you this, Blaze and Silver. That is an excellent question. When I filmed video four is the female. That's she looks kind of reddish because I was filming it in direct sunlight. Not only in direct sunlight, but there was snow on the ground, and the sun was reflecting off the snow. If you know how brutal that is, like the sun reflecting off the snow hurts your eyes. Never mind the direct sun from above. She's dark brown, and she looks dark brown in a couple of my videos. But anyways, long story short, I'd literally tricked them. Whereas the males were down looking at me on another side of the mountain, lower on the mountain, and I'd gone past up to another area. And what I believe had happened was, I believe the males went down to go find me and take me on, and I believe some females were the last layer of protection before I got to the young. And I think that's why I bumped into that female, and she was there, at watching as a layer of protection. So I literally I'd fooled them to go down lower and think I was somewhere else, and it was all because of the snowstorm too. That snowstorm was crazy. And I had also I had an ability to conceal myself with all my. You couldn't. There was no way you could have. I had a ghillie suit that was lead lined, so if there is a way they can feel, they can extrasensory see you, extrasensory perception, see you and feel your energy. They can't when you have a lead lined cloak. I called it a ghillie cloak, and now they have. They call them mechs, I think. Oh no, hex suits, human electromagnetic concealment, hex suits. I think those things are really effective because there's something with energy, people. I'm trying to frog in hot water you here, trying to move you up, but the energy matters. ESP matters, extrasensory perception, what you feel and the way you move and the way you do things. Your energy really, really, really matters. It matters. And if you don't know that, if you don't believe it, I don't know what to tell you. You're walking around thinking the earth is flat and it's definitely not. It's round. Energy matters. Your feelings matter. Your It just matters so much. And you could disagree with me. And I think John Benedict would disagree with me. He was very much about the science. He didn't like me talking about those things. But that's the difference between being an artful tracker and just being a hardcore science. Science doesn't have the answers. Science has a lot to learn. Science is studying ESP, and science between people. So this is becoming science. Just the science is in its infancy. So, Sean of the '80s from Instagram. How can I see the movie with the title Daywatcher and have it just about that type of Sasquatch? How can I see a movie with that title Daywatcher? I talk about the Daywatchers a little bit in my mini documentary. I don't know. I don't like to talk about the Daywatcher stuff too much because it's a way that you can identify a Bigfoot area, and I don't want people. Some people don't really deserve that, so I think it might be a danger to the species to talk too much about day watchers and my knowledge of them. So I keep that information kind of private. So I don't know many people. It's really like when you discover a day watcher spot, you found a Sasquatch habitat, and there's lots of evidence that I've had just from my colleagues that support that. So yeah, but there's no need to have that. Just go. You want to go look for Sasquatch? Go look for Sasquatch. Go figure it out. Go find a spot. Start doing research. If you need my help or some of my colleagues' helps, we'll be there to help you. So, did the Sasquatch project infrasound? Can they turn the effect? I'll tell you about infrasound. It's real. Sasquatch can do it. Sasquatch knocked me on my ass with infrasound. Sasquatch have made me almost throw up from infrasound. Infrasound is very real. A gorilla knocked me unconscious with infrasound. So gorillas can do it. So yeah, it's totally legit. Okay, I think it's better to go with just bear spray, no guns. So I just had a good question, a really good question, awesome question. It was KM. I don't see it right here because the thing kicked out and I'm back. But somebody asked me they think it's better to go out with bear spray than a gun. No, if you're going real backcountry, this is only in the United States. This is my opinion. This is kind of we're getting into some dangerous stuff because it's illegal to carry a handgun in Canada. But if you carry a rifle, the Sasquatch are going to recognize the rifle. I've never had success with a rifle on my back. So if in the United States you choose to carry a handgun, which is what I'd recommend. So sorry, this thing keeps kicking out. I have the fastest lightning internet. I have like fiber optic internet here. This is crazy why we kick out. But anyways, what I'd recommend is go out with a handgun. Don't go out alone for goodness sake. Take bear spray, I guess, but the handgun, if you just conceal it or put a put your jacket over it or something. I just want people to be safe. So this is kind of a dicey, weird subject because in Canada we're meatheads out here. You have to have special. Just go get a trapper's license and then do your research in that area, and then you can carry a handgun legally. So that's what I recommend in Canada. Go get a trapper's license if you know where Sasquatch are. But then if you're just looking for Sasquatch habitat, what the hell do you do? I'd recommend travel around with a rifle. Be ready to protect yourself, because each area is going to be different too. It's just where I live, like bears and mountain lions are a real big danger. It's very, very dangerous. So, protect yourself. Take every precaution. Bear spray is good, but I don't know. I wouldn't really rely on it. And if you have big bears, you have to have like a 44 Magnum. That's what I have. 357 Magnums might not be enough. So I don't know. Just really, really protect yourself. Be extremely careful. really take your time getting into this. You got to be so safe. Please be safe, people. Go out in pairs. You know, if there was two or three of you and you had bear spray, that'd be awesome. And somebody had a gun or something, just be so safe. It's so dangerous doing this stuff. I wouldn't want anybody to, if anybody ever got hurt on my expeditions, I would quit and not do this anymore. I couldn't handle it. So that's why I'm so safe. No one's ever been, I've taken out, over 20 people now, way more than that, maybe even around 40 people I've taken out with the film crews and Beyond Survivor Man. And I've kept all these people safe. They've been under my protection, and everybody's kept really safe. So what's going on here? Just keep safe, people. Use search and rescue devices so people can find you. Be so safe. Really be safe. Like, it doesn't cost lots now. The technology is there. If you can't afford to have a tracking device on you and some bear spray, then don't go out in the bush. Don't do it. Um, I just went looking on a search and rescue for somebody. It just broke my heart going looking for a body. That's brutal. And, just keep your tracking devices on you and never have an excuse. When you get in your vehicle, put your seatbelt on immediately. I know you're about going to the corner store. Put it on. Same thing with you're just going for a short cruise. You don't need your search and rescue. Put it on. You never know when you're going to have trouble with a mountain lion or something bad's going to happen. So really be cautious. Your life is very valuable, and take care of yourself. So uh, they ambush their prey like humans. They adapt, figure out hunting techniques, works best. That's Stephen talking about Sasquatch. I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure you're right. Sasquatch is the John Rambo of the wild, no doubt. You know what, Sean of the 80s, I'm going to strongly disagree with you. John Rambo got nothing on these guys. Like, Sasquatch are so the best. You have to understand, the best survival experts, the Native Americans and First Nations people, will tell you that the Sasquatch are a whole other level above them. So John Rambo had his knife, he had his survival techniques, he made things, and the Sasquatch don't need any of that stuff. So they don't need anything. They're just like naked and amazing and powerful, twice as strong as a gorilla, and highly adept and intelligent, and built built by nature to survive, and infrasound, and my God, like that. There's really, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to what you might think of John Rambo, but the Sasquatch are so amazing. I love bears. I love wolves. I think mountain lions are incredible. Like the elk, the deer, these species are amazing. And I'm talking the apex species, the king of the forest. So easy for them to survive naked, man. Naked. You take John Rambo, say no knife, and you throw him out in the bush naked, dead in a month. Dead. You take a Sasquatch, you throw him naked in the bush, naked, nothing, no technology, come back in 8 years, he's fat. You know what I mean? The difference is enormous. I'm talking again, you can't use survival skills. Just be naked, right? No, you're not allowed to go kill a deer and put a skin on. They don't do that. Do you understand how important that is? So they're so masterful. They're so incredible. They're so amazing. They are my teachers. I'm highly skilled in the wilderness. I have a lot of skills, and I'm nothing to them. I'm just a young pupil. I think that a 5-year-old Sasquatch could be my teacher. Actually, I don't even think. I know. That's how good they are. That's how amazing they are. They're absolutely brilliant and amazing in the stuff they know. Just even, you know, so tough, so hardy, so powerful. So let's see here. What's got it? Do you think they might be ritualistic, like a pagan form of reverse nature? Donald O'Brien. Do I think they're ritualistic? I think. How am I going to put this? I know they're shamans. I know there are certain rituals that the Native Americans and the First Nations people don't do because the Sasquatch only do it. The term Sasquatch means wild master. And I've seen that in many traditions. When the Native people are telling you, with all their experience, with all their skills, with all their knowledge, that's the master of the wilderness, you better have some reverence, because I know I sure do. I've never been to Ontario looking for a Sasquatch. I've never seen them there, but they gotta be there. Come on. If the Sasquatch project infrasound, can they turn it to be affected by another predator's infrasound? Let's see that. So if Sasquatch project infrasound, can they in turn be affected by another predator's infrasound? I would assume yes. They could hit each other with infrasound. They might be able to communicate with infrasound, right? So, and that's the way to get me. Thank you, Amanda, is northbigfoot@gmail.com. I haven't been on Facebook much recently, and I might not be here next week. I'm gonna do a Saturday video. I got something cool happening because an old colleague of mine has come back into the works. Randy Brisson. I'm not gonna even hide it. Randy Brisson. I love the guy. He's totally legit. I introduced him to. I had the honor and privilege of introducing Randy Brisson to John Benner. We're gonna do a little. So we're gonna do a little Randy Brisson stuff. I have to go see him. I'm in the area, and just a wonderful human being. It's like John Bitternagel is wonderful and as open and as honest and as good as John Bitternagel is. Randy Brisson is like more along the native spiritual side of greatness, the way John Bitternagel is. Just boots on the ground, tough as hell. I can't say enough awesome things about Randy Brisson. I just love the guy to death. He was part of he was able to gather DNA for Adrian Erickson's DNA study. So that's why I was very interested in those results because I know Randy Brisson is totally legit. I presume they know deer season starts a particular state. You think they have special place they hold up at that time to stay safe? Well, I'll tell you this, Ray. When I was studying them in Montana, there were hundreds of elk all over the place all year. And then suddenly hunting season came, and all the outfitters went out of business because the elk got pushed into areas where they couldn't be hunted. And that's because the Sasquatch were doing that. And I believe they do that also for Jasper National or Banff National Park. I met a biologist through that because it was weird how the elk were purposely moving. This particular herd was moving away from hunting areas and into the national park so they were safe. Elk don't do that. Elk can't figure that out. So, hey Todd, are there Sasquatch in Arizona? I haven't been out to Arizona. So many places I'd love to go. Jose, is it Jose or Jose? So many places I'd love to go. I'd love to get out there and do that stuff, but I really gotta stay focused on where my success is, and it's hard terrain and stuff. But it's I've been studying Sasquatch and radium for over a decade. So it's is it a decade? Yeah, 2018. So it's a long time. Todd, can you talk about talk about what I'm going through right now? No, I don't want to talk about that stuff. Just my personal life stuff. This is good therapy. Me talking to you guys. I love talking to you guys. You guys are amazing. So yeah, I just want to let's keep it Sasquatch, y'all. Let's keep it Sasquatch. I love the questions. I feel like I can come here and talk to you guys, and it's like therapy for me just to hang out. And you guys are amazing. Do you think they teach their children telepathy? I think well, if they have the capacity for it, like even it was I don't know. My research is old. I haven't been to university since like '99, but the cerebellum was thought to be significant. And anyways, if you stimulate a certain part of the brain or more, it'll be more functional. And so if the parents are using telepathy to communicate, then it's going to stimulate that part of the brain more. And it's going to become more powerful, right? The more you use a muscle, the more powerful it becomes. So absolutely. And thinking they're up at altitudes and stuff and they breathing heavy, I think they're just in constant communication with each other. And what do you think of the Justin Smila's story? I don't want to comment on that. I'm not a critic, so I don't know. There's so much crap that goes on, you know? Like I have a guy that I really like and I have another guy I really like and then they start hating on each other. It hurts my heart. I like both these individuals and they both have legitimate reasons to be uncomfortable with each other. And I wish we could get along better, people. I really do. It just hurts my heart so much when we just hate on each other and stuff. Let's just try to be forgiving and we're not going to agree on everything. It's not going to happen. We're going to have arguments. We're going to disagree, but can't we just agree to disagree and move on? Because cooperation is so powerful. And if we fight against each other, this discovery is never going to go anywhere. When a Sasquatch kills a deer, they just snap their neck or what? Probably. Like it's really easy for them. So, yeah. Something, Frank, though, that's really cool. They could use a rock. I don't know. There's a million ways they could do it. The Sasquatch know stuff. They're so amazing. But what's super cool is I believe I can identify that a deer has been killed by a Sasquatch, or it's a Sasquatch has fed on the carcass because of the way they snap the ribs off right at the spine. No animal does that. There's no reason for ribs to be snapped off like that, and the reason the Sasquatch do it is because that food, that tissue, right by the spine and right where the bottom of the rib touches the spine, it's very special. It's very special food, and that's amazing, totally amazing. They suck the marrow out of the tips there because it's really super healthy, super just something is amazing about it. And it was hard for me to figure that out. I live in upstate New York, Whitehall, New York. Cops, state troopers, seen them multiple times. People's sittings. Have you heard of my town? No, I haven't heard of your town, but that's awesome that the police have seen them, you know? So there was a police officer was going to testify in my, I was going to get him to testify in my court case. What happened here in British Columbia is he got called out. These people were having like Sasquatch banging on the house. He got called. So as I was saying, this police officer got called out, saw Sasquatch off as best he could, like turned on his cherries or whatever. And then the people called him back a few days later. Nobody else wanted to go out there. Fish and Wildlife wouldn't go out there and do their job because Sasquatch doesn't exist. And he went out there and scared him off again. This is a police officer on duty, you know? And it was all over the news. Fish and Wildlife weren't out there, were they? Not doing their job. And that's what that's what this lawsuit is about, is them doing their job. So, skeletal remains, Louise, that's it's just so hard to find anything, and I think they take their bodies and put them in a certain place. I think they've always done that. So skeletal remains is hard, but why do we need skeletal remains? I can prove they exist based on DNA. 50 years of Bigfoot family was feeding on them. Amazing they buried their stillborn. Dan's talking about something that had happened that sounds very interesting. Todd, you're an inspiration. My favorite research. Much love, Pennsylvania. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Scott. I'm proud to be able. You know what, you guys? The documentary is yours. Take that documentary, use it as a tool, please. There was no money. That documentary was an enormous loss financially. However, if we can take it and use it as a tool and inspire people to do work and even, start people thinking, that's if it can just do that, that makes me so happy. Take my documentary, uh, show it to people, let them ask questions, and maybe it'll get them researching other stuff. Jimmy Chilcott's is totally amazing. What they did with Sasquatch Meets Science, the Jimmy Chilcott section of it is brilliant. And I don't know, just get the ball rolling, get the conversation. It's just a tool to help us. Um, Shoot around of fireworks at Sasquatch. Whew, that would be ridiculously foolish. I love these beings. So, with regards to the Development and Research Center, have you contemplated the possibility of offering a research award named after the late Dr. John Bitternagle? Man, I would love to do that. So I intend to, and I hope to be able to do the Bitternagle expeditions on Vancouver Island, and in honor of John Bitternagle. That's what I was calling them, is the Bitternagle expeditions. And there'll be something. I had with John Bitternagle, we found a creek that wasn't on a map when we were in the Nordegg region, and so we found this creek, and it's beautiful, and it's not on a map. It's small. It's kind of hidden in the trees, and it comes out of the mountain on the top, and then it disappears underground, so people didn't know about it. It's beautiful. There's a waterfall, and I talked to when I saw it with John. I go, so what are we going to call it? And I go, Bitternagle Creek. He's like, oh, I would be so honored. And I was like, well, it's done deal, sir. It's Bitternagle Creek. So he deserves that, and there's definitely a place for him. And if I have anything to do with the discovery process transpiring, his name will be remembered most assuredly. Do you like music? I don't know. Catlin asked, do you like music? Yeah, I don't know. Don't know. I think so, but I don't know. There's so much. A lot of this discovery is blind. I would think so, but I've never seen them really respond in a special way to music. So, I just don't know. It's a good question though. I've used music many times. Survivor Man, when he came out, he played the harmonica, and look at the success we generated. But I think it was mostly to do with Survivor Man because he's such a wonderful guy. He's Survivor Man's a shaman. He's brilliant and amazing, very heartfelt, very connected to nature, and they immediately recognize that. So, in fact, you can't be around Survivor Man and not feel his greatness. If Survivor Man just walked past me and I didn't know who he was, I would knew there's something special about him, because he's a very special guy. Do you believe they're stronger than a gorilla? Twice as strong as a gorilla, yes. And twice the size of a gorilla, and most assuredly twice as strong. In fact, I don't even believe that. I'm absolutely certain of it. I'm not even going to pull any punches. They're unreal powerful. Um, I wasn't shooting at them. Sorry, my English is bad. No worries. Forgiveness, sir. AZ, great question. What's the upside? What's with the upside down tree? Yeah, I don't know. You're talking about the upside down tree and that structure from Nordegg. It's just what's great about it, for sure, is that it shows it's not naturally happening. That structure is not natural. A tree doesn't flip up upside down like that and have a butt in the air, right? So, you know, I don't know. So, but what it means, like, there has to be a translation. The Sasquatch would have to tell us, or somebody that can communicate with the Sasquatch would have to tell us that. So I don't know. We'll just do a few more questions here. Todd, keep up the good work. Thank you, sir. Trials and tribulations put in front of you. Yeah, thanks, brother. Trials and tribulations. Whew. I think they eat their dead. Ooh, Homer, dude, you're punching me in the face here. Wow. I hope not. What's what's that Tinder match, Todd? Don't know. I don't know. I know. But I just saw an interesting question. Why don't you just tranquilize them? And you should watch my video. It's up on my YouTube channel. To kill or not to kill a Sasquatch. That'll explain it really, really well. It's a question that I explored at one point, and to kill or not to kill a Sasquatch is the explanation of it. So yeah, have a look at that. What does it mean when they make the tree snap like a giant? Well, the tree breaks, I believe, are just territorial bounds. Even telling young not to go down there, or telling other Sasquatch or in Bigfoot territories. That's my theory with it, because they all point in a certain direction. And again, I talked about that on Survivor Man. It's okay to go here. It's not okay to go there. I believe they're a Bigfoot, no denying it. But if they use telepathy and are clairvoyant, I want nothing to do with them. So they interesting, but I don't want to take any part of others. So I stay neutral. Well, I'm sorry that the telepathy scares you. I, I don't understand clairvoyance. I kind of understand it, but anyways, that's not a word I use. But yeah, the telepathy makes them certainly very powerful. Huh? Certainly very powerful. Uh, Extrasensory perception, yeah, it's going to be right off the chart. How do you sneak up on something like that? And the answer is a hex suit, right? But that's things are different now. What are your thoughts on areas in New Mexico? I went to a Bigfoot conference there, and Brenda Harris holds, and it seemed like every other person had an encounter story. Thoughts? Yeah, the New Mexico Sasquatch are going to be very different, very very different. It's really getting out of my, I call it the Bigfoot North habitat. Pretty much from Northern California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, up into British Columbia, Alberta, and into Alaska. That's my habitat. That's my terrain. You get into New Mexico, coyotes are different, animals are different, species are different, plants are different. So not that I wouldn't pick that stuff up really fast, but the Sasquatch are going to be different, right? So, and they're going to be different in every area. It's just different. So, do I think they're in New Mexico? Yeah, isn't that Apache area? I just gravitate towards the indigenous peoples, right? So I think there's a really cool guy. I think that's David Kreider. Is that his name? So many people, so many names, but there's a really cool dude that I just think is like he's like a superhero, and I think he's down there in that New Mexico area. He seems pretty cool, at least from what I know. But yeah, cool dude, and I think New Mexico, from what I've seen, I've met people that just love New Mexico and say how beautiful and gorgeous it is, and I just admire that so much. Loving your home, loving your terrain, and yeah, harsh, rugged, beautiful. I mean, God's sake, I was down in the Everglades in a swamp, and I couldn't believe how people tell me that, oh, you come down to the swamps here, and people get lost in the beauty. I'm thinking, the beauty in the swamp? What the hell are you talking about? And then I get there, and it's absolutely breathtaking. There's no mountains. It's flat. It's a bloody swamp, and it's absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. Very intoxicating. When I got there, and I realized, man, I could do that. I could get crazy and just live here. It's the beauty of it is magnificent. You just gotta know to look for it. So, or know how to look for it. So, okay, just one more question. We're on an hour and a half here. Oh my God, Todd, please say hi to me. Velocity 800, how you doing? What's up? Robert Kreider, there you go, KM. But where do they hide in New Mexico? It's a good question. Hardly any bush. I know. It's Navajo reserves. I know. It's like you think, how do they survive in these places? What the heck? What are they doing there? And how can it work out? But they've nature has second guessed us, and I totally agree with you. I don't know, but Robert Kreider, man, that dude's tough, and I love his stuff. And They could just Sasquatch are so amazing. They're so amazing that it's just nature is so amazing, right? Are Sasquatch greasy looking? No, I think they're clean and they look. The ones that I like to be around are clean and no, they like bears are. Bears look clean, deer look clean. Nature animals aren't raggedy. Wolves are beautiful, magnificent. How do they get their coats like that? So yeah, nature animals when they're healthy and strong and they look good. I mean, you look at a coyote and you can see it's raggedy. That thing's not having a good time. It's not having a good life. But when they're thick and their coats are rich, they do well, right? Since remote viewing has been proven to be a reality, do you think they can remote view as well? Much love from QC. Yan, man, right? Remote viewing. Is it really proven? I don't know. I'm not saying yes or no, but and then can they remote view when you're talking about a being that has the abilities they do, right? So much I don't know about. There's so much I don't understand. I think we should all be humble like that. But can you imagine that? If you don't know about remote viewing people, look it up. It's crazy. They did a documentary about it or a movie about it. And I've seen a lot about it. Yeah, it's very interesting. It was something I was interested in doing, but it's just, you got to get focused. If you want to cut like a laser, you got to be, sharp like a laser. You got to focus on a spot. And it's remote viewing, it's animal communicators, it's wilderness tracking, it's survival, it's primate studies, it's so many things. And then I have to do a documentary. I had to become a filmmaker for this. So, you know, I edited my movie. I did the bloody sound for my movie. And after I wrote it, directed it, produced it, filmed it, I edited it and put it together. It's like, and then the most important thing is selling it in the end. Of course, you can't sell it. So you have to let, the parasites that are in there do all the selling and take over. So, and they get all the money for it. But, I didn't know that. I'm not, it's just so much, so many levels to everything. And that's why you cooperate. That's why I get somebody to do the animal communication. I get somebody else to do the remote viewing. And I'm very interested in all those things. I have, you know what? My biggest fear is to not try something. That's what I fear, is looking back on this and saying, man, I should have done that. I could have done more. When I walk away, when I'm finished with something, I want to feel, this is, you can quote me on this, I want to feel 100.0% done with it. Like there's nothing more I can do. And, that's important to me. That's what I fear, is looking back going, man, I could have done more. I could, no, if you put 100.0% in it, if you did everything you could, you did everything you could. That doesn't mean being crazy obsessed. That means just working as hard as you can. You don't have to work, 100 hours a week and stuff. You need to live your life. If you're not taking breaks and enjoying life, you're going to have problems. So just a few more questions. Hey Todd, hope all is well. Just wondering, do you think that they live in tribes, village type social settings? Absolutely. Tribes is a good word, because it kind of takes them out of the primate question, because they call gorillas troops and chimpanzees troops. But absolutely, the ones that I study are in groups. Absolutely. He's got grave on the front of his chest and underneath his arm. I don't know what I don't know what that is. The reason we just need reading glasses, it's because we rub our eyes. Really? Cool. Have you established a relationship with any particular Bigfoot in terms of friendship? Well, yeah, that was Jake and other young individuals that come around me. So I think I've established some good relation. I always want to do that. When you bathe your dog, the first thing it wants to do is go roll around in the dirt. Yeah, I think I'm kind of missing some of the conversations here. Harry and the Henderson, great movie. I loved Harry and the Henderson as a kid. I adored that movie. I wanted to meet the people that were consulting for that movie, because I love that perspective. I loved it. I think that movie was wonderful, very authentic. I just can't say enough good things about that movie. I really, really enjoyed it. Even like the end where, the Sasquatch researcher that wanted to shoot one ends up not wanting to shoot one in the end. I don't know. I love that movie. I think very highly of it. I wish they'd make more movies like that about Sasquatch. So family laughs. The family laughs at my obsession with Sasquatch. Would love to prove them wrong. Yeah, yeah. We get laughed at. But I love humor. I loved messing with Sasquatch stuff. I really did. I loved that show. Those commercials. If you haven't seen them, they're so funny. Yeah, I love to laugh a lot. It's one of my favorite things. I just can't show humor in my documentary and stuff because people won't take me seriously. So if I feel there's a lot of authenticity missing from my documentary because I don't talk about the humor and the funny things and stuff. So thanks, Frank, for your wonderful comments. Um, yeah, I'll do a few more questions here. I would love Kev. I would love Kevin from Glad to be interested by anyone like West German or Vict, but don't want to let him. Clans. Clans is a good word for a group of Sasquatch. It's a very cool word. Who grew up with Denska? Wow, grew up with a Sasquatch. I always take some winter opinions. Lots of garlic in my jacket. I'm just reading Don Thomas's thing here. Uh, that way they don't smell the gun oil and stay hidden. Ooh, you're trying to hide stuff, Don. Ooh. I'm gonna read this. I always take some winter onions from the garden and keep a lot of garlic in my jacket pocket. Always reach in and leave some garlic also. That way they don't smell the gun oil and stay hidden. Be careful playing tricks on them. Try to be honest, you know. The Sasquatch, even like, for example, a couple years ago, a Sasquatch came and busted over a tree, and I wasn't sure it was a Sasquatch, so I drew my gun. I draw my gun. I'm like, what is coming in case it's a bear or something, right? It could be charging at me. But as soon as I'm aware it's a Sasquatch, like I'm like, oh, again, I'll draw my gun, draw your pepper spray, defend yourself. But as soon as you're aware as soon as I'm aware it's a Sasquatch, I was on an expedition with two other people at the time, and as soon as I said that's definitely a Sasquatch, I put my gun away, put it down, put it away. There's no need for it anymore. Because I can't. You don't point a gun at a Sasquatch. You don't shoot a Sasquatch. You'll die. That's my perspective. You don't. You die. You take on a Sasquatch, man. You are so dead. I have such a respect and reverence for them. They're incredible, amazing beings. And if I went to war with them, I would be killed. I have no doubt of this. I've seen it so much, the evidence and how they move and how brilliant and strong they are. They can throw boulders the size of a basketball 200 yards. Wear body armor and see how that works out for you when a freaking boulder hits you at 200 yards, going at 100 miles an hour like a bloody catapult, you know? They throw with deadly accuracy. I've seen it so many times, and they're so dominant and manipulative, and they move in such a coordinated fashion. Like they are incredible beings. If you haven't figured it out yet, I have an immense reverence for this species. Immense. Don't take them on. Don't fight them because you will disappear and nobody will ever find your body. That's how I feel about it. I know that offends people because we have a lot of respect for our Navy SEALs, our military, the Rangers. We have a lot of respect, and that's cool. But why even go to war though? What did they do to us? You know, let's not start a war. And maybe they could go out there with Navy SEALs and thermal cameras and helicopters and Apaches and annihilate a whole group. Well, good for you. Wow, you're my hero. You took on an incredible, amazing, rare species and annihilated them. That's not cool. I couldn't though. I I couldn't do it if I wanted to, and I wouldn't do it for any amount. You think I haven't had offers for that stuff? Oh yeah, I've had offers. I had a situation where there's a really good tracker, a world famous tracker, and apparently there was a group of people that were like mercenaries, like retired military, really top dog people, and they had equipment and stuff, and they were going to go into a Sasquatch area, and this tracker was going to go with them and track the Sasquatch. It didn't take me long to convince him not to do that. It didn't take me long at all. It took, a 30-minute conversation, and he quit that thing because he agreed with me. If they are out there and if they are real, um, you're going to go to war and people are going to die, and he might be amongst them. And is it worth the money? So, and in the end, he said no. And then those mercenaries were all pissed at me. But whatever. I'm just speaking the truth. And if you don't like it, have a nice day. So I'm not trying to be vindictive or anything, but when you realize how incredible and how amazing they are, um, yeah, don't take them on. You're going to get your ass handed to you. Don't fight them. Why? So I believe there might be a 50% chance that Bigfoot are real, that there are Bigfoot, and that's Philly Post. Hey, that's good enough to start. Survivor Man went on Joe Rogan, and Joe, you put him to task about a lot of things, and people were, anyways, he said, what's the likelihood you think Todd Standing's footage is real? He said 50-50. Right? That's good enough for me. So, and if you got 15% chance, then it's a good place to start. That's awesome. I take people out, and they start out, 20% likely, and then they go home 80% likely, right? Or some people start out 20% likely and go home. Actually, most people have really good success. So I'm getting on my expeditions like a 90% success rate. So, but that means 10% people are just, that we don't do well and there's not great chemistry or something happens, and you know, I 90% customer satisfaction. That's not bad. So I make mistakes too. I think the biggest mistake I make is in I want to say casting, but finding the people, getting people that are going to do well and have good success, and that's where the 10%. I think the 10% failure rate in my expeditions is me making mistakes on finding the wrong people to come out with me. Does that make sense? I take responsibility for that 10%. I think now, I mean, the majority, 60% of the people coming out with me now are second or third timers. So that's amazing. We've already had great success. And then, I'm working hard to make sure that people are going to, like if you're not fit, you're going to have a hard time, and if people send me pictures of them being fit and say they're fit and they come out and they're not fit, that's a recipe for bad, but now I'm able to take people out that are less fit. I don't think it's cool that you have to be athletically amazing to come out and do research with me, because some people just aren't like that. And so now I'm able to, with the electric bikes, I'm doing expeditions that people are not going to be hiking and doing really, really hard work. So yeah, because a lot of the expeditions I do, you have to be badass tough, and that really brought my. It's just not good to just have a. Anyways, I'm working hard to make sure more people can come out and do expeditions with me. Even what was so cool is there's a guy who's a part of my cooperation now. He's a surveyor. He's going to help us with land and surveys and stuff. But he's got a little girl that's the same age as my son, and she really wants to come out. She's a huge fan of mine, and I'm like, I don't do under 18. It looks like I'm going to do under 18 because we're going to do something different. And he kept pushing it, and he kept convincing me, and it only took like an hour on a phone conversation. I think I'm going to take a 10-year-old little girl out with her daddy, and I'm going to go out with my little boy, and we're going to go out and do some stuff and see how it works out. I just love having my paradigm pushed, and because I have taken my family out to camp in Radium where there are Sasquatch, so we could do some superficial stuff and see how it goes, So this little girl is apparently, what does he call her? He's got a cool name for his daughter. Anyways, yeah. So I love having my paradigm pushed. I love trying to go out and do new things. It scares me, but yeah, if you're not doing things that scare you in this life, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. I firmly, you got to do that. You got to push things. If we're going to make this world a better place, you better push and be doing things. Don Thomas, definitely gun for black bears if needed. Would never shoot a Sasquatch. It'd be a definite life-ending move. Oh, dude, so much. Don't even point your gun at a Sasquatch. I think you would die. So, yeah. Are they aliens or alien related? Okay, let's do that question, the alien question. Hell no. They're so evolved. They're so indigenous. I think the Lloyd Pyle stuff was talking about how we are less likely to be from this planet than the Sasquatch. I would agree with that theory. I mean, they're so well adapted for survival in the wilderness, like I was talking earlier. Survivor Man naked. Survivor Man's tough as hell. It doesn't get tougher than Survivor Man. Put him naked and tell him no technology, dead in a month. Not the Sasquatch, though. It's like they're the original indigenous species, perhaps. So I don't think any alien at all. I think they're totally indigenous and they're totally amazing in this climate. More than we,